Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm introducing a new 5.56 optimized suppressor by Blackbird RD. It is their F5.56. It is manufactured out of Haynes 282. I made a video a couple of days ago going over all the specs, if you care to watch that. Before we get started, let me say to YouTube, there are no automatic weapons used in the making of this video. Everything is semi-automatic and compliant with the law. Also, I'm using 20-round compliant YouTube magazines, so don't draw my video, bro. Also, guys, I appreciate all the subscribers, appreciate all the viewers. If this content interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like it, give the channel a like or give the video a like. It goes a long way in helping promote the channel. The first thing we're going to shoot it on is a 12.5 inch. We're going to compare it against unsuppressed. For today, these are literally my first shots through the Blackbird. So I want to actually get some time behind it before I form an opinion. So the guns we'll be using is both 12.5 inch Hodge carbine length gas barrels. They both have the suppressor optimized gas port. Be using A5 lower receiver extensions, utilizing Geisley rifle length springs and Griffin Armament A5 buffers. The ammo we'll be using for the completion of the test is going to be M855. Let's go ahead and get her started. I'm going to take my ears off for this one. Up next, we're going to be shooting the Blackbird F5.56 on a 14.5 inch upper. The upper used is utilizing a Hodge mid-length gas system barrel with a gas port size of .075. The non-suppressed version, we're going to be using my Psionics upper. It is a 14.8. The only difference is it is a 14.8 instead of a 14.5. My other 14.5-inch Hodge barrel has a pinion welded muzzle device on it, and it wasn't going to work out for this demonstration. But they both have the exact same size gas port. They're both utilizing A5 lower receiver extension with Geisley rifle length springs and Griffin Armament A5 buffers. Ammo used M855. Go without ears. All right, guys, let me get set up. And next, we're going to assess single shot back pressure. Next, we're going to take a look at single shot back pressure and assess how much back pressure the Blackbird F5.56 is putting onto its host. Now remember, this is for a single shot. This is far from telling us everything, but it is a good starting point. How we're going to conduct this test, I'm using a 12.5-inch mid-length upper, utilizing a rifle speed gas block. The way I have this gas block set up, setting 5 is where we find failure unsuppressed. Meaning when we put it on setting 5, it restricts the gas system to a point that there's no longer enough gas in the system to lock the bolt to the rear on an empty mag. So we're going to start out on setting 5. Closer to 5, the lower the back pressure. All right, we did get full lock back on 5. Going to 4. We got full lock back on 4. Going to 3. All right, we failed to get lock on 3. So 2 settings under the unsuppressed setting. All right, guys, let me get set up next. Next, we're going to take a look at the F5.56's capability to reduce back pressure for longer strings of aggressive fire. Next, we're going to take a look at the Blackbird F5.56's capability to vent gases for a longer string of fire when shot aggressively. So we're checking for how consistent is the back pressure that it puts back onto the host. We're going to do that by shooting a 12.5-inch mid-length Psionics upper, utilizing an A5 lower receiver extension with the Geisley rifle length spring and an A5 H3 buffer, utilizing an Atrius super selector. So each mag is going to be have 25 rounds of M855. First, I'm going to shoot unsuppressed. What I want you guys to pay attention to is how it makes the gun behave mechanically, meaning cyclet rate and ejection pattern. How consistent are both? Now remember, a couple of things that can also affect cyclet rate and ejection pattern is heat, and also as the magazine begins to empty, there's going to be less drag from the round pushing up on the bolt carrier as it extracts and ejects. Okay, something to think about. And I'll also be paying attention from a shooter's perspective as how it makes the gun behave as well. We're looking for consistency. First, unsuppressed. All right, guys, let me get the Blackbird F5.56 on, and we'll run it again. Up next is the Blackbird F5.56. All right, guys, that's all I have today. Like I say, this was just the initial shots. These were literally the first shots through the F5.56 that I have fired. So let me get some more time on it this week. And then next week, we'll definitely start with some comparisons. And by that time, I will have formed some opinions. All right, appreciate you. And remember, it's a crazy world out there. So keep your guns oiled.